Hey everyone, welcome to Mrs. Ross Does Math. Today's lesson is for adding integers, and this is lesson 10. Once again, this is lesson 10, adding integers. This is in our second unit of the year. We just finished up with our absolute value and looking at comparing numbers using greater than, less than, or equals to. So now we're going to move into our adding integers. Our essential question for today is, can I add two or more integers to find the sum? Sum in math means the answer to an addition problem, so we are going to be using our mathematical language to really kind of reinforce that today. Here we go. As a reminder, our vocab is based around integers, so I just wanted to have you guys rewrite this word down. An integer, once again, is a whole number. This symbol means number that can be positive, negative, or zero. And again, it's really important that we remember that it's a whole number, okay? So please keep that in mind. Now, when we're adding integers, you guys are so used to, going 4 plus 4 and that gives us 8. Here, we are going to be taking a look at adding and subtract, or in this case, adding positive and negative numbers together. So, when we add integers, when we have numbers that have the same sign, we just simply add, and then we keep the same sign. So if we have two positive numbers, our answer is going to be positive. If we have two negative numbers, our answer is going to be negative. So remember, when there's the same sign, we just simply add and keep the sign. Now, an example of that is with this here. If I have positive 4 plus positive 5, I'm going to get positive 9. Another way of thinking about this is if I have negative 4 plus negative 4, I'm going to get negative 8. Now I like visuals, so above my positive 4, I'm going to put 4 positives. And I'm going to put little circles around each one of them. I'm going to put 5 positives over here. Okay. Now, all together, I have 9 positive signs, which is how our answer is 9. The same thing happens with our negatives. If I have 4 negative circles here, and I have 4 negative circles here, I'm going to have 8 total negative circles altogether. So that's how we're going to keep that sign. So let's do a little bit of practice. The first piece that we're going to go ahead and practice is with negative 3 plus negative 2. Here, if I have negative 3, that's 1, 2, 3 negatives, and negative 2 is 2 negatives, how many negatives do we have altogether? You got it. We got 5. So 5 negatives, so I'm going to put my 5, and then I'm going to put my negative sign in front of it. Next, taking a look at these here. Our negative 6 plus negative 9. Now I've put my negative 9 here in parentheses because when we have this plus and a minus sign right next to each other, or in this case a negative sign, we really want to make sure that we're differentiating or showing the differences between the two numbers. So, or in this case, between the two signs. So really make sure that if you have a plus negative 9 and this negative 9 or any negative number here isn't in a parentheses, go ahead and put it in there. It'll really help. Okay, so negative 6 plus negative 9, that's going to give us negative 15. Because 6 and 9 is 15, they're both negative, so it's going to stay negative. And again, this is for when we are adding integers. Now, if you feel at any point that you need to go ahead and pause this video, please go ahead and do that. If you need to re-watch anything, by all means, go right ahead. That's what this video is for. Next, we are now going to go ahead and talk about what happens when we have different signs. So when we have different signs, we're actually going to go ahead and subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. And the bigger number in this case is actually the number that's furthest away from 0. And we're going to use some plus and minuses to help us out with showing this. Okay. So if we have the problem negative 4 plus 5. Negative 4 plus 5 happens to give us 1. If we were to look at this on a number line, I'd have my 0 right here. This would be -1, -2, -3, -4. I'd have 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Here, if I'm at -4 and I add 5, this is my addition side. This is my minus side. So I'm going to go ahead and move my jump 5 times, and when I do that, I happen to land on the negative, or in this case, sorry, on the +1. So that's how we get the 1. But when we have different signs and we don't have that number line available to us, we can use a switch method. I'm going to switch the place of these numbers. So I'm going to go 5 plus -4. Now 5 plus -4 is also going to go ahead and give me 1. Because if I'm at the number 5 now, and I have -4, I'm actually just simply minusing 4 from my 5. And that's what happens here. When we have a plus and a minus right next to each other, we can actually get rid of the plus sign and just turn that -4, or in this case, that -4, into -4. Okay. Now, another way of looking at this is that we can use plus or minus numbers to help us out. So, if I have my -4, I'm going to put 4 negative circles. And I have 5 positives. I'm going to use a canceling method to determine what is remaining. So, I'm going to cancel out this set. I'm going to cancel out this set. Cancel here, cancel here. That leaves me with 1 positive remaining, so that's where we get our +1. Okay. Now you can choose any of these methods to help you. If you have a different method that you would like me to know about, please let me know and I will happily look at understanding it. Okay. All right, so now we've got a couple of practice problems. So here we have -8 plus 12. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my negatives. I'm going to look at my positives. Okay. Now all of these here get to cancel out because they are right over each other. And how many positives do I have remaining? 4. So my answer is +4. Now, if you need number lines, you can go ahead and grab a number line. I'll make sure that I post one in Canvas for us. Okay. Next, let's take a look at this 6 plus -9. Okay. So here, I've got my positives again, and I've got my negatives down below. I put my positives up top because that was the first number, and then I put my negatives down below because that was my second number. So here, once again, I can cancel out pairs of positive and negatives, and what I'm left with is 3 negatives. So my answer is going to be -3. Now finally, I've got this big one, -50 plus 20. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of writing out 50 negative signs and 20 positive signs. But what I could do is, because they both end in 0, I know that my answer is going to have a 0 in it. And what I could do is just do 5 negatives and 2 positives. Oops, sorry about that. Wrong amount of positives. It's the amazing thing about whiteout tape. It's always available. All right, and once again, when I cross out my pairs, I've got 3 negatives remaining, so I'm going to put that -3 in front. So my answer is -30. All right. So feel free to continue to rewatch this video, jot down more examples, or if you're ready, go ahead and jump into Canvas. You'll see this assignment right here. Our assignment today is Math 7, Lesson 10. Okay, this is adding integers. This is a worksheet. Now, obviously in Canvas, it's going to be really difficult to use the number line to find the sum. But what we could do is we can still use our imagination, we can use our fingers on the screen, and we can go, okay, For number 1, I know that this is negative 3, and if I'm adding a negative 1 to it, I'm just going to get a bigger negative. So that means that I'd put my finger at negative 4 on the screen, and that means that my answer is negative 4. Okay, so use that number line in here to your advantage as you're solving these, and if you get stuck at all. All right? Now, this assignment is due by the end of class today, so please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. Thank you so very much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been Mrs. Ross Does Math.